Welcome to Filmtastic. Today I'm going to do my review on Disney Wish. I have seen it, I am ready to review it. So, Disney Wish is the movie to celebrate the Disney 100 that was released this week. It's about a girl called Asha and this king named King Magnifico and the whole concept on wishes and wishing on a star. Now, the movie overall is pretty strong. I don't think it's as good as like some of the other ones in this era. Like I would choose, Encanto, Zootopia, Moana over it. Like it's kind of right in the middle, but it's not one of the worst ones either. It's like literally slap in the middle between the really good ones and like the more not so good ones. It's like right literally in the middle. But yeah, the movie itself though is generally pretty, pretty harmless, pretty fun. It's like it doesn't really try to challenge, you as like a viewer. I feel like they kind of played the story a bit too simple. They could have had like something more going on. It was kind of too straightforward. Like I feel like if you watch the trailer kind of explains like majority of the movie. It's like this guy goes bad and then they gotta fight him and then retrieve the riches. Like it's really is that simple. But I do, I think the king to me is a standout character. I love his like descent to darkness. He's absolutely, you know, but like crazy in the second half of the movie. Like, Kim Magnifico, in my opinion, is a very good addition to Disney villain lineup. He's not like the best villain, but like I'd probably would rate him a bit higher than like say Hans or the guy from Big Hero 6. Like he's stronger than some of the more modern villains we've had. Like he's better than some of the twist villains. But also as well, he's kind of underwhelming at the same time because I feel like his character is kind of like they were going for one idea and then he like changed halfway in the movie to a different idea. Like they decided halfway through they wanted him to be full on evil and not sympathetic. But in the start of the movie, they were kind of doing the more sympathetic angle. Like he's a confusing villain, but when he does go full villain, I feel like he earns the title of being a good Disney villain. It's just the way how they set him up is a little bit confusing. Like they want you to feel sympathy for him and like feel bad for him. Like literally the opening part of the movie is kind of like, this guy's had a terrible life. But then they pull a 180 and go, he's done this and now he's permanently evil. And he's irredeemable now. Like that's it. He's just you gotta trap him or whatever. So yeah, I feel like there was like conflicting writing with him, but he overall was a really strong character. Just he could have been better, in my opinion. And then with Asha, I love Asha. She's great. I do think though she is a bit like of a more bland Disney protagonist compared to some of the more stronger ones. Like Mirabelle to me is just a great, strong, modern Disney protagonist. Mirabelle, she's clumsy sometimes. She kind of feels inferior to her sisters, but that's the whole idea. Like she is the root of the pack. She doesn't have powers, so you kind of feel bad for her. You feel sympathy for her. Which also has this like jokey, fun side. Mirabelle's a very well-rounded character, and so is a character like Moana, Judy Hobbs. Like they are all very strong characters, and obviously Rapunzel, and Ella and Elsa. Like, they're all really strong characters. Arsha to me kind of falls a bit more flat. She kind of is in like the Raya category a bit, where they're both like strong characters, but they could have done more with them to make them like even more enjoyable and likable. Like they just kind of have very bare minimum sort of personalities. Like they could have done a lot more of them. I feel like as well with like Arsha, they could have done like more with her as well in the sense of like they really stick to that basic, adorable character aspect of her. Yeah, she does get more serious in the movie, but I feel like Arsha was like a great opportunity to kind of delve more into the mature, quote unquote, princess personality that we've seen with like Tiana and Belle. Like, I feel like they could have brought that back with Arsha because she does have a bit more of a mature edge to her, but they didn't really commit to it. They kind of keep her, with that other personality. So I feel like they could have definitely gone a bit more different with her, but they didn't. But I still like Asha though. She's a great protagonist. I love how her one fail is that her one weakness as she calls it is that she cares too much. Like that's kind of cute. That's sweet. But yeah, she's a great character, but I definitely feel like they could have done more with her. Like I feel like she's a bit more on the weaker side of things. Like compared to other Disney protagonists, she's a bit weaker, but she is great still. I do like her. As for the music, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit disappointed in the music. I think the problem with this movie, because it's the Disney 100 movie, there's so much pressure, like this extra pressure on it. Like I feel like if it wasn't advertised that way, even me myself would have lesser expectations. But yeah, with the music, I do feel like that is the one like thing that really brings some of the movie down for me because they really could have gone like all out. Like this is the Disney 100 movie. They could have got like the Miranda. They could have got the Lopez's. They could have just gone all out with like the you know, biggest, music people that Disney have used in this era. And they just kind of copped out a bit. They went for like a pop, songwriter. I still, I love, they have a great career. They're a great, writer and artist. Like, it's nothing against, Julia Michaels. Like, she's got a great career and she's done so many amazing things with so many amazing people. But I was really hoping they would go more, Broadway-esque or, a bit more classic Disney with the music. Because obviously something like Encanto doesn't need classic Disney because it's the epitome of like a modern Disney movie. But because Wish is set in that medieval time period, it's trying to reference all the Disney movies and all the Disney magic. I feel like it's a kind of a waste opportunity to not also have those like more classic-ish songs, or at least songs that are more Broadway like, at least, just so they kind of have that vibe to them. But instead they kind of go a bit more pop, but like they're not bad there. Like I think this Wish is really strong, and I also really like At All Costs, and I also like the credit song I Wish Worth Making. Like them three are really strong in my opinion. And At All Costs in particular, to me, is a really good. And I think the main reason why it's so good is because it has that Broadway-esque style to it. It also has like a love song vibe to it, even though the king and Usher are saying their love to the orbs of wishes, even though if you don't know the context, it does sound like they're saying it's themselves, but like to each other. But like that song is that is a very pretty song. I think that's part of it is because it's a less pop inspired song. It's a little bit more Broadway esque. But yeah, the music is generally not as great as I want it to be. But there are definitely some standouts. But I think the weakest ones though to me are probably I Am a Star and Welcome to Roses. Like them two are probably the weakest ones in the soundtrack. And even the King songs are one of the weaker ones too. Like This Is the Thanks I Get. Like them three are kind of on the more weaker sides. But I do think the other like four songs I mentioned are a little bit stronger. Well, 3 to 4. The fourth one being Know What I Know Now, which is another one which I really like. Yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag for the music. They could have gone stronger. Just because it's the 100th movie, I feel that's like my main reasoning. So yeah, they could have gone stronger, but it's generally all right. And then the story is it's great, but I do, like I said earlier, it's kind of a bit half boiled. Like I feel like they could have given a little oomph to it. I feel like it needed I feel like something's missing. That's like my whole thing. This movie, like I had a great experience watching it. I think it's generally a great movie. I love, it's a good movie. But I think because this is the 100th movie, I feel like there's always gonna be pressure from that. But it's kind of like because it's like Disney 100. It's like the celebration of all things Disney. It's meant to be like the epitome Disney movie. Like it's meant to be like the standout movie of this era. Just because it's the 100th, and it's just kind of like it's good, it's great, but it's not like oh wow, this is Disney 100. This is everything Disney is. Sort of thing. It's kind of a little bit not. It's not at that level. It's like. But that's the frustrating thing though, because it's like Disney 100, you kind of expect it to be like the best Disney movie ever, and it's like not, but it's still really good for what it is, like it's. I feel like those expectations kind of hurt the movie just because we had those expectations in the first place, because I've had advertised it with like the villain and all this stuff, when in actual fact it's just a really good movie, but it's not like the best movie of this era or the best Disney movie ever. Like is kind of like middle range, like it's not the peak Disney movie, it's not the worst, it's just literally right in the middle. That's the only way I can describe it. It's got good things, it's got bad things, it's mostly overall good, so that's one way to describe it really. But yeah, I've generally had a really positive time watching this movie. It was great. Like I said, the music could have been stronger, characters could have been tighter, the story could have been a bit more beefier, but like generally it was pretty good. But not gonna lie, I do kind of wish they committed to Star being like a sort of genie-esque magical character. Like, I just feel like Asha needed someone else to talk to other than like her friends and like the mute Star. Like, I feel like I feel like even though I love Star how he is, I feel like it would have been cute if he could like change animal forms or was like a kid from like that would have been really cute. I'm a sucker for Disney love stories. I think they could have definitely snuck that in there. That would have been adorable. And also as well, just generally the concept of magic, I feel like is a little bit confusing because they don't really fully explain, what's good magic versus bad magic. Like, do you think we get is that Gimmifico trains himself to learn wish magic essentially, and there's like this one book that turns him evil and he can't go back, and that's like his whole explanation for going bad. And then obviously you have Star, who is a wishing star, but his magic kind of consists of like just Disney magic, so like making animals talk and stuff like that. But it's not really fully explained. It's not really. I feel like Star's powers aren't shown to their fullest. Like we don't get to see everything Star can to do. Like I feel they kind of put a cap on his powers, which is weird. So I feel like I feel like we kind of don't know his potential. But maybe that's something they kind of save for a future thing. I don't know. But yeah, the whole magic concept is a little confusing. But the main thing I kind of got from it is that all magic is generally good, but if you read like the book and use it for like your own like selfish ways, it goes bad. But Kimi Nifiku's like generally is kind of a great villain, like I said. He just kind of reminds me a bit of like Dr. Facilier cross of Jafar a bit, but like to a lesser extent, like lesser than both of them, but still good. But yeah, overall though, great movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. It's it needs a bit more padding I felt, but it was generally a great movie. I had a great time watching it. What do you guys think of Disney Wish? Let me know in the comments down below, guys.